In the vast, silent expanse of the Arctic, a kingdom of ice is vanishing. The rhythmic pulse of freezing and thawing, the lifeblood of this unique ecosystem for millennia, is broken. The Arctic is warming at a rate 4 times faster than the rest of the planet, and its iconic sea ice is disappearing in real time. And now, its most vulnerable residents are sending a distress signal we can no longer afford to ignore. In a stark announcement, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN, has sounded a loud alarm. Its latest update to the Red List of threatened species has reclassified 3 key Arctic seal species, confirming a dramatically increased risk of extinction. This isn't just a statistical change, it's a dire warning etched in the melting ice. Before we meet the seals, it's crucial to understand what an IUCN Red List declaration means. Think of it as the world's most comprehensive inventory of life, a global barometer for biodiversity. It's not just a list. It's a powerful tool that assesses the extinction risk for thousands of species using rigorous criteria. When a species is moved to a higher risk category, like vulnerable, endangered, or critically endangered, it's a global call to action. It's a signal that the pressures are intensifying and that we need to act. The latest update, which now includes over 172,000 species, has cast a harsh spotlight on the top of the world. The findings are unambiguous. The hooded seal has been uplisted from vulnerable to endangered. The bearded seal has been moved from least concern to near threatened. And the harp seal has also shifted from least concern to near threatened. The cause for all 3 is overwhelmingly the same: the loss of their sea ice habitat due to climate change. To grasp the magnitude of this warning, you have to understand how intimately the lives of these seals are woven into the fabric of sea ice. It's not just a resting place. It's their nursery, their hunting platform, their shield, and their home. Let's start with the hooded seal, now officially listed as endangered. This is a large, striking animal, named for the bizarre and unique nasal ornament on the adult males. This hood is an inflatable sac that hangs from its head. When threatened or displaying for a mate, the male can inflate it to a formidable size and even extrude an internal membrane from one nostril, like a bright red balloon. But beyond this strange feature, hooded seals are creatures of the deep, cold waters of the North Atlantic. They spend most of their lives alone, hunting fish like Greenland halibut in deep waters. But for 2 critical periods, pupping and molting, they are utterly dependent on stable pack ice. Females have one of the shortest nursing periods of any mammal. They give birth to a single pup on the ice and nurse it for a mere 4 days. In those 4 days, the pup doubles in size, feeding on milk that is over 60% fat. This extreme strategy requires an absolutely stable ice platform. The IUCN's decision to label the hooded seal as endangered is backed by devastating data. The Northeast Atlantic population has plummeted by a staggering 85 to 90% in the last 40 to 60 years. While historical hunting played a part, the population has failed to recover even after hunting was reduced, pointing directly to environmental causes. Next is the bearded seal, now near threatened. It's instantly recognizable by its magnificent, profuse whiskers, which curl elegantly when dry. These whiskers aren't just for show. They are sensitive instruments used to find food on the seafloor. Unlike other seals that hunt fish in the water column, bearded seals are benthic feeders, diving in relatively shallow waters to find clams, crabs, and octopus. Their entire life is tied to drifting pack ice over these shallow foraging grounds. It's where they give birth, nurse their pups, and rest. Pups are born on an ice floe and can swim almost immediately, a crucial adaptation for a life on moving ice. The threat to bearded seals is a 1-2 punch from climate change. First, the reduction in sea ice robs them of their essential pupping and resting platforms. Second, as the ocean absorbs more carbon dioxide, it becomes more acidic. This ocean acidification poses a long-term threat to the shellfish that make up the bearded seal's diet. As their ice habitat shrinks, so does their food source. Then there's the harp seal, also now near threatened. Harp seals are one of the most abundant marine mammals in the North Atlantic, with a population in the millions. Their scientific name even translates to ice lover from Greenland. They are famous for gathering in enormous congregations on the pack ice in the spring to give birth. Their pups, known as whitecoats, are born with beautiful white fur and are completely helpless for about 12 days. They cannot survive in the frigid water and rely entirely on the integrity of the ice flow. This is the species' Achilles heel. In recent years, the ice in their traditional pupping grounds has become thinner, less stable, and prone to breaking up early. In years with poor ice conditions, pup mortality can be catastrophic. Pups are crushed by shifting ice or forced into the water before they've developed the thick layer of blubber needed to survive. Studies have found a direct link between low ice cover and high numbers of dead yearling harp seals. While their huge population has so far buffered them from a more severe status, the near threatened designation is a warning that this buffer is eroding. And no discussion of Arctic seals is complete without mentioning the ringed seal. Though it wasn't part of this latest reclassification, it is the cornerstone of the Arctic ecosystem. It's the smallest, most common seal in the Arctic, and it's the primary food source for the polar bear. The ringed seal's vulnerability is tied to its sophisticated breeding strategy. To protect her pup from the extreme cold and predators, the female digs a snow lair, or a cave, in the deep snow that accumulates on top of stable sea ice. The success of this strategy depends on two things: stable ice that lasts through the spring and enough snow to build the lairs. Climate change is attacking both. The ice is forming later and breaking up earlier, and warming trends are leading to more rain in late winter, which causes the snow layers to collapse, exposing the pups. Without snow and ice, ringed seal reproduction fails, and the fate of the polar bear is directly tied to the fate of the ringed seal. The common thread binding the fate of all these species is the dramatic and accelerating loss of Arctic sea ice. The Arctic is the epicenter of global warming. For these seals, the ice is the ground beneath their flippers. As it melts away, they are, quite literally, losing their world. The most heartbreaking consequence is on pup survival. Unstable ice separates mothers from pups, leading to mass mortality events that can cripple an entire generation. And it doesn't stop there. The warming disrupts the entire food web, from the algae that grows on the ice to the small fish that seals eat, forcing them to expend more energy to find food. But climate change is not acting alone. The melting ice is opening the Arctic to a host of other human-induced pressures. For millennia, the Arctic Ocean was one of the quietest places on Earth, muffled by a thick layer of ice. Now, with longer ice-free seasons, new shipping routes are opening up. This is introducing an unprecedented level of underwater noise. Seals rely on sound to navigate, find mates, and locate prey. The constant, low-frequency rumble of ship engines masks these vital signals, acting as a persistent stressor. The Arctic is also not as pristine as it looks. For decades, industrial chemicals and pesticides known as persistent organic pollutants, or POPs, have drifted north and accumulated in the fatty tissues of animals. Seals, with their thick blubber layers, accumulate high concentrations of these toxins, which can suppress their immune systems and reduce reproductive success. As old ice melts, it can release a new pulse of these legacy contaminants trapped within it. Finally, the retreat of sea ice is fueling interest in oil, gas, and mineral exploration, bringing the risk of catastrophic spills and disturbances from seismic surveys, along with the growing risk of seals being accidentally caught and drowned in fishing gear. This ecological tragedy is also a profound threat to the culture and food security of the indigenous peoples of the Arctic. For communities like the Inuit, the seal is at the very heart of their survival and identity. In the high Arctic, where agriculture is impossible and imported food is astronomically expensive, seals are a vital source of nutritious food. It's been reported that 7 in 10 Inuit children in Nunavut may go to school hungry. The seal hunt is a sustainable way to ensure food is on the table, but the relationship goes far beyond sustenance. It's a cornerstone of culture. The hunt passes essential knowledge about the ice, the weather, and the animals from one generation to the next. Every part of the seal is used: the meat for food, the blubber for oil, and the skins for warm, waterproof clothing essential for survival. The health of the seal populations and the health of indigenous communities are inextricably woven together. The situation is dire, but the IUCN's warning is a call to action, not a eulogy. There is hope. The recent recovery of the global green sea turtle population, also highlighted in the IUCN update, shows that long-term conservation efforts can work. International cooperation through bodies like the Arctic Council can establish marine protected areas to safeguard critical habitats from shipping and industrial development. We can reroute shipping lanes and reduce vessel speeds to cut down on ocean noise. We can work with indigenous communities whose traditional knowledge is vital for effective co-management to ensure harvests remain sustainable. But while these local measures are crucial, they only treat the symptoms. The ultimate cause is global climate change. The only long-term solution for ice-dependent species is to stabilize their habitat, which means halting the warming of our planet. As one leading seal expert, Dr. Kit Kovacs, stated, "Acting to help seals is acting to help humanity when it comes to climate change." The plight of the Arctic's ice seals is a story written on a vanishing landscape. The hooded seal, the bearded seal, and the harp seal are the sentinels of the Arctic, their changing conservation status a direct measure of our changing world. Their struggle is a stark reminder that climate change is not a distant problem for future generations. It is here, and its impacts are accelerating. The fate of these incredible animals, which have thrived in one of the most extreme environments on Earth for eons, now hangs in the balance. Protecting them isn't just about the Arctic ecosystem or cultural heritage. It's about taking responsibility for the health of our entire planet. The ice is melting, and with it, time is running out.